This is a story time with me and Luna. Like, okay, so you guys can kind of see the perspective here. This is a big-ass dog. Everybody's like, oh, Luna's a Corgi mix. She's fucking big. You see this big-ass bear? You see this big-ass bear? Bitch. Oh, my big bear, Luna. She's just small-legged. Small-legged is it. Look at this big-ass dog. Tell me she's not fucking huge. Yeah, she's fucking big, girl. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So we're here for the story. I know. And then this little fucking thing. This little fucking thing. Okay. That's not the spot, Max. Alright, so anyway, I unexpectedly got the morning off. I had a client who works night shift, and I've been grooming him for his dog for a long time. Maximilian. Max, boy. I've been trying to tell a story, y'all. They got excited because I sat on the floor. And I was thinking about it, and it's like, how perfect for story time, am I right? To like, you know, sit a little crisscross and whatever. So anyway, I made myself a little mimosa because I'm going to go out for a couple hours now because it was a 2-dog appointment that ended up getting canceled. I'm sorry to say, basically the owner works night shift. I texted him, I was like, hey, on my way. He texted me back, Maximilian! Boy, I gotta tell the story quick, we don't have all day. He's like a very vocal dog. Like, some dogs are just so that way, and he's one of them. Everybody else plays really quiet, and you could play if you were being quiet, but you get really loud, and we're not gonna be able to. Okay. All right, let's go fight. Oh my God, you're gonna make me knock my own drinks over, moving them for y'all. Anyway, so as I was saying, the guy that I went to, I texted him when I was on the way. He said, great, see you soon. I got there about 15 minutes later, and calling, I'm ringing the doorbell, I'm knocking. I didn't even hear the dogs, honestly. They were like, we're going to bed, bitch. So anyway, he texted me about 30 minutes after the appointment. He was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. No big deal. I take it as a blessing anytime that I'm able to get a little time off. So I'll fucking take it, okay? No feelings hurt here. And I've got him scheduled for like next week. I was able to get him in, so it's no big deal. But anyway, I was like, well, shoot, now I got like a good 4-hour window, so why not go drink a good mimosa? I went and got myself breakfast. I'm like, honey, I'm going to enjoy this fucking morning. All right, so let's tell a little story about this one time that I started a fucking business. All right, so starting at the beginning, once I kind of figured out my path, like I was like, sure, like, okay, I'm going to be a dog groomer. I knew I wanted to open my own business, but I kept telling myself like how not qualified I was. Basically, the people that and I've talked about this before, but the people I was surrounding myself with at the time were not the most encouraging. They also kind of put those doubts in my head. So I was like, oh, I can't do this. Like, it's like friends, family, whoever. Like, there was really like my mom was, yeah, probably just my mom, and then like my sisters are young though. So like as far as like adults that I had around me that believed in me, it was just my mom. Oh my God, you guys, my phone is just always blowing up. It's just so much. Like Becca cannot start soon enough. Like I can't even tell a story because I'm just like looking at my phone and I'm like, there's like so many messages coming through. Like, where are all you people coming from? Where are they all coming from? I don't know. How do they keep hearing about me? I'm like, I have almost 250 dogs in my system. I'm like, when am I going to close my books? I'm not sure. Anyway, so, like I said, I knew I wanted to open a business, kept telling myself I wasn't ready, and blah, 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 blah. So I'm working at this shop, and, I've told a story about like my craziest bosses, which just reminded me, like, I have so many stories to like add about her, and like it's like I've been having moments of like, what story should I tell? I don't know. And it's like I have like a million just of this crazy lady. I should fucking tell more stories about her, and I just haven't yet, and I need to do that. But either way, so I'm working at the shop. This lady, as I mentioned in the craziest bosses I have story, she was the number one crazy boss that I had, and me and her, it became like so fucking toxic working there. Like literally me and her did not get along. It was an everyday occurrence that at least one time a day that she would come back to my room and start bitching me out over something. So it was like constant stress, even though like I wasn't afraid of her. I mean, she's this old ass lady. What the fuck is she gonna do? But it was like just the tension of like knowing like every time I go into work, I'm going to get into some verbal altercation with this fucking old ass lady. You know what I mean? I was like, it was just so stressful. So once I realized like things were not going to work out with her, and I watched how disorganized and how little the fuck she knew what she was doing. Sorry, Stevie's got something. I'm just making sure it's something she's allowed to have. Stevie, what do you have? Okay, good girl. You had your teddy, she had your teddy. I love this stupid little dog. She fucking drives me crazy. Look at them bug eyes. Okay, go play with your friends. So, like I said, this lady is like so incapable. She didn't know shit about dogs. I think she maybe knew like a teensy bit about business. I really don't think she knew anything about business. I think her husband maybe knew some about business. And then the other business partners, there were 4 total partners. She was one of them, So anyway, I think maybe her husband and the other guy that were involved in the business maybe knew a little bit more about business, but she didn't know anything about anything unless it wasn't like interior design. Like, honey, I don't know how she went from being like an interior design artist to being like a dog daycare owner, but it was not a good step for her. Because like if we had a party or something, you guys, this woman was like insane at decorating. Okay, that was Stevie. So it might get loud because she's zooming. Okay, let's be careful, please. Sorry. Okay, you guys. Luna? All right. Stevie, come here. You're the one that always starts it. Don't bite at my face, you fucking twat. Stop. Okay, so she's fucking running full speed. Luna wants to get her. Oh my god, I saw Luna's little neck thing. I thought she had blood on her for a second. My heart sank. Okay, so anyway, like I said, I'm watching these people. My job is fucking miserable. Like, this lady is such a bitch. Like I said, every single day she comes back and she's complaining about what I'm charging for a dog or how long it's gonna take or something. It never failed. I'd see her stupid ass coming every fucking day. When I went into work, I had to deal with her. If it was just me and her, it was literally a nightmare. If we had one of the other employees there, she'd leave me the fuck alone. So anytime I had to work with just her, it was just a nightmare. And it was daily I had to work with just her. Like every single day I had to work with just her. And, you know, the other employees would come in the afternoon, but it was like all morning I had to work with this bitch. And it was fucking miserable. So I decided, I was like, I want to open a fucking business. So my stepdad had passed away and I was left some money from him passing, and I was like, I just remember I told my mom first, and then I called my grandpa, and I was like, look, here's the situation. I was like, I have this skill, you know, I'm good at what I do. I've built the clients, because I had already proven at this shop that I was at, like, they had no clients when I started. I completely built their clients for them. So I'd proven, like, I can build a business. I know what the fuck I'm doing. I can bring clients in. So I'm ready. I was like, I want to do my own thing. And, so my grandpa set me up with his financial advisor. And we sat down and he's like, okay, so like, what's your goal? Now, at this time, I was like, I want a van. I was living with my ex at the time, and I was like, it would just be so much easier rather than like a storefront and whatever. We looked into storefronts, but honestly, it was going to be just as much monthly to pay for the storefront as it would be for the van. So it was like, it just made more sense to like get the van because I can charge more per dog. Anyway, so that was retail location. So the financial advisor that I went to talk to didn't like the idea of the van because he was like, it's so expensive. It's so much money down. So he was like, how about you look into buying a house and you can get, just open a little dog grooming shop like on your property. And I'm like, okay, perfect. That sounds awesome actually, because I was living with my ex, but I hated it. I fucking hate, I still if I ever think about what my life was living there, it literally makes me sick to my stomach. I literally hated living there so much. I hate that I had to ever live there, especially I was there for almost 5 years. It's just I hated it there. So I was dying to get out. So when he mentioned oh, you could buy a house and then you would have somewhere to live and you'd have your dog grooming shop, I was like, well, that sounds like quite the plan to me. Let's do it. So I went ahead, I hired a real estate agent. It took months, you guys. I don't know if you've ever tried to buy a house or if it's still like this or not, but when I was trying to buy a house, it was I cannot tell you how many times my real estate agent would send me a house. I'd be like, yeah, I like it. And then we'd set up an appointment to go view the house, and before we could even make it there, somebody had already put down or signed a contract on it, or what is it? Where you're like, yeah, I want to buy this shit, and then you go into contract or whatever. Never failed. That happened to me so many times. It was so frustrating. So it's if you're ever trying to buy a house, when you find that one you like, you better snatch it up, bitch, because if you don't, the person that's coming an hour behind you might be the one to snatch it. So you're so fucking lucky. Or at least at this time, this is how it was for me trying to buy a house. It was a fucking nightmare. And y'all let me know, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it's not like that. I need to color my hair. It's just a mess, you guys. Y'all are like, what color is your hair? Do y'all want to see how fucking blonde I am? Hello? Blonde as fuck. That's what color my hair is. Either way, so like I said, we looked around for houses forever. We finally found this house I'm living in now. I got it. I signed the contracts. It was all good to go. Moved in. And I started, because the reason I bought this house was there is a building. I have a 3-car garage on my property. It's this big, nice building. And when I was talking to the people that were selling me the house, they were like, oh yeah, you could totally convert this into your grooming shop. They knew what I was planning on doing. It was all exciting. I was so set in stone. I started writing my business plan. Well, I'd actually been writing my business plan, but then I basically rewrote it with this house. Got so excited, was getting all the numbers, was almost done with my business plan, you guys. And I needed to get a quote to run the plumbing to the building, because there's no plumbing out in that garage right now. So I had to call the city hall, basically, because they were the ones that are in charge of the water and whatever. And they would have had to come out and turn a separate water line on to run to the business for tax reasons or whatever. That was what they were going to have to do. So I called up there to get a quote to see how much that was going to cost. And they were like, oh no, you cannot open a business there. That's considered residential, because I have houses on either side here, one across the street kind of diagonal, and then directly across the street from me, this is what makes me want to rip my fucking hair out, is a goddamn church. And the church is fine. The church is fine. Even though they're loud as fuck, they be literally, I'll have people over at the church at midnight, and then there's always cops are circling in there, and every time they circle through, the lights shine into my house. They're fine over there, but I was gonna be an inconvenience with my grooming shop. That I was gonna have one customer at a time, but anyway, it doesn't matter. So they were like, yeah, you can't do that. There's no way you can open a business here. I asked, originally the girl I was talking to, she's the city planner, I think, and she had said something about we can try to take it to the zoning board and you can fight it and whatever. And I was like, sure. I was sign me up a date. I'll go up there and I'll argue it and whatever. And basically when she tried to set me up an appointment to argue it, they told her that they would not even consider it. that it was just a no. So here I am. I just bought this house in the thoughts that I'm going to open a grooming shop on my property, and now I'm being told that's not a possibility. So I mean, it was like a knife to the fucking heart, because I'd done so much to get to this point of buying this house, and I'm like, another fucking door slammed in my face, and I'm like, oh my God, like, what am I gonna do? I was like, honestly, working at that other shop, I was like barely making enough, because I was living with, my ex was living here too, and I was paying all the bills by myself. I was buying all our groceries and everything, and frankly, I was making about $50 a day, about $250 a week at that shop. So it was like, I was not making any money. I was so broke, penny pinching, like trying to support us both. And like, here I am, like the one hope of finally getting out of this fucking nightmare of being so broke all the time is basically torn out from under me. And I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do? So the lady, the city planner I was dealing with, she was like, there's no mobile dog groomer in this area. She was like, I don't know if you've looked into mobile, but, there's a mobile dog groomer. She used to come around here, and now she ended up moving a little further away, and she doesn't cover this area anymore, and there's all these people that really want a mobile groomer. Why don't you look into mobile vans? And at this point, frankly, I didn't have any other option. So unfortunately, it really fucking sucked, man, because my business was so new, and it was just me at the time. Now I'm in a partnership with my mom, and that's because I was not able to get approved for the van by myself, because I don't have the credit, I didn't have the funds, none of it. So I was like, what the fuck? So anyway, my mom ended up helping me to put the down payment on the van. So basically, I am paying her, and I'm also paying Mercedes for my van, if that makes sense. So my mom actually paid off Hanvy's side of the conversion, and then I'm paying her back for that, as well as paying off the Mercedes van, because we still owe on the van. So I pay a payment to Mercedes every month, and I pay a payment to her. So that's how that kind of ended up working out, because otherwise I would have just been fucked. I was so frustrated when I was told that I couldn't use this house, like, to do the grooming business. It was like, now I felt like I was stuck with this house, and like, what the fuck am I gonna do, and blah, 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 blah. And even to get the van was so fucking hard. You know how many times we got turned down for the loan? It was like, okay, like, first we were like, they give you all these quotes, right? They're like, okay, if you put $10,000 down, this is what your monthly payments are going to be. You have 5 years, I think, is like the longest that you get to like pay off the van. So they're like, okay, so if you pay this much down, this is what your monthly is going to be. And they did that for like 10, 15, 20. We're trying to find somebody to pick up the loan. And like I said, it was just me. My mom ended up signing too. But since I was a brand new business, and essentially my business had no credit, it was so fucking hard to get a loan. Like, it was so fucking hard. So like I said, that's why we ended up, cause like we ended up putting down, I think we put down 47,000. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because one of the things, I'm pretty sure the conversion was 47,000, and then the other half was the van. I think that was 44. So anyway, we put that money down, and we were just like, fuck it, let's go. So, like I said, we were turned down for the loan. I don't even know how many times. It was like, we just kept waiting and waiting and waiting, and dealing with Mercedes, and they're like, nobody's picked up the loan yet, like, because they're trying to find a company to do it, and it was like literally the most like nerve-wracking thing. So here I am, and I didn't mention this, but I in the midst of dealing with everything with that crazy boss I had and everything, I ended up getting really badly bitten by one of their daycare dogs. It wasn't even a dog I was grooming, and that lit a fire under me. I was like, I can't stay at this place any longer, so I ended up quitting and going house call. And I did mention that in my house call grooming story time, about how I just did house call because I needed to jump. It was like, I got really badly bitten by that dog. They were not planning on, like, the owners of that place, they'll never kick that dog out. He'll go until the day he dies. And was very eye-opening when he bit me so badly. I was like, if he would have bitten my hand, that could have been career-ending. They were also scheduling me really highly aggressive dogs for me to groom by myself. They were basically putting me in a situation where I was going to get hurt and I was going to end my career at 26 years old. So I knew I had to get the fuck out of there. So like I said, I opened House Call. I was fucking broke. I was trying to figure out, I was like, what am I going to do? I can't open this shop here. Now it's like we're talking about a van. It's like hard as fuck to get approved for it. And the thing is, like where I was like, oh my God, like even if I get approved for this van, I don't have the customers. Cause like once I went out on my own and I raised prices, I had been the cheapest groomer in town. So when I raised my prices, I lost most of my customers. They didn't want to pay prices for grooming. They were looking for the cheapest groomer in town. So they went off to the next cheapest groomer. You know what I mean? And that's honestly my fault because I like tried to I did undercut people because I knew like, at the time I was a new groomer. So I was like, I'm a new groomer, so I'll just charge nothing for my groom. So like I said, whenever I tried to go out and do House Call, 1, people were not on board with the tub, and 2, they weren't on board with the price increase. So it was just, I was fucked. And I'm sitting here like, what the fuck am I going to do? So like I said, we finally get approved for the van. And then that was really when the fear set in. Was like, oh my God, like I just bought $100,000 van. And I don't have any customers. Like, I think I had maybe 20 people in my system at this point. I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do? I thought I was gonna have to do all this shit, and I was gonna have to hustle, and I was gonna have to work every fucking day of my life and whatever. And I swear to you that once I got the van and I got the pictures of the van, like it right there in front of me, I started posting them, booked up instantly. I booked my first 100 clients within the first week of me being in business. I got 100 clients in my system in the first fucking week. It was nuts. I still can't wrap my head around it. It's so unreal to go from being so broke that I could barely afford to keep my lights on, I could barely afford to eat, to going to being so successful. It's like, I just feel like a magnet for money at this point. It's like everywhere I turn, I end up like picking up money somewhere. It's like amazing. I feel so lucky to be able to give back. There's been some GoFundMes for other groomers and like stuff like that I've been able to contribute because I have the money, and to be able to do shit like that and help other people and wake up and do what I like to do every fucking day is just incredible. And it's gonna always be unreal to me, especially just like such a big turnaround. Because a year ago today, there's videos of me, like you can see how sad and stressed and whatever I was a year ago. And then here I am today, like so confident, so like feeling good about myself. Like I know my worth. I know what I bring to the table. I know that I'm a fucking hard worker. And I know now that I can make something out of nothing. Even when every fucking door is slammed in my face, even when I'm told no 100 fucking times, that somehow I can still pull it off. Even when, like I said, the only person that believed in me was my mom. I remember my grandpa, and I love my grandpa so much, but I told him about the idea with the van. I was kind of hoping he would help fund it. And he was like, $100,000, you know? And like my uncle is the same way. He was telling me like, oh, you're not going to be able to charge any money for grooming in the area you're in. Nobody's going to pay those prices and blah, blah, blah. I was told no. I've been told like, oh, you can't run a professional business with tattoos. Like you're going to have to change your appearance and whatever. Even with the wrap on the van, I was told like, oh, you can't look like that on your van. And then even I had like my ex that told me, he's like, oh, like your van picture basically is going to make people like stalk you and want to follow you home because they see this like sexy picture on your van and whatever. It's like, you know how many times I was told like you're not going to be able to do it, and I believed it, and I was in my own head and I was fucking terrified all the time, like, oh my God, like what if I can't pull this off? And all I had to do was just fucking hope for the best and just do it. And if I hadn't just pushed myself and just fucking did it despite how fucking terrified I was, then I would not be here talking to you right now about this. It's unreal. So if you're afraid, you have to take that risk. That like feeling of fear, that like anxiety in the pit of your stomach it's gonna happen. And you have to take it and you have to fucking run with it. And like basically laugh in fear's fucking face. You know, we're only going to be here once, so fucking enjoy every second that you're going to be here. Maybe we come back, we don't know that. We know guaranteed we're going to be here one time. So make every fucking minute count. Do something that you love to do. Like, don't waste your time at somewhere like that last shop I was at, where I was fucking miserable and going into work every day, and my, like, boss is coming up and like, why are you charging this much for this dog that you've been grooming for a year? Like, literally, she'd come up to me and be like, this is too much that you're charging for this dog. And I'd be paying that customer was paying that price for like a year straight, never complained. It was just my boss that was complaining. It's too expensive. Like, and I fucking sat there and dealt with that. I dealt with so much shit that I would never tolerate now. And because I dealt with all of it, I'm able to do what I'm doing now. I doubted myself so much. Like, I remember when I first decided, like, before I called my grandpa or anybody and told them, I started messaging my friends that own businesses. I have friends that own salons and photography studios and like that kind of thing. And I reached out to all of them and I was like, how did you know when you were ready? You know what the most like incredible thing is I've had people message me that now it's like full circle, where they're like, you know, how do I know if I'm ready? If you're messaging me, if you're sitting here and you're thinking like, you know, this is what I want to do, then you're fucking ready. Because when you get to that point, especially if you're reaching out and doing your research and trying to find out all the nitty gritty, then you are fucking ready. So just do it. You can put in all that work for somebody else, or you can put in that work for yourself and build your own fucking thing. Like I mentioned earlier, I built their fucking business from the ground up. They had 6 dogs when I started there. I left, they probably had 150, 200 dogs by the time that I left that shop. And guess what? They all left with me. Yep, they can't even keep a groomer at that shop. Imagine that. Imagine that, when the fucking boss is crazy and always fucking bitching about all the grooming prices and everything. Imagine they can't keep a groomer. Isn't that crazy? But I'm really thankful for like my mom, because I really did not have a lot of people that really, really believed in me. And my mom took a huge fucking risk helping me by putting down that money on the van, and like basically not only not knowing if I would be able to pay her back, but also not knowing if I was even going to be able to afford the van in the first place. Like, so it was like a huge risk that not only may I not be able to pay her back, but I also may have to like give the van back, ruin both of our credit. You know what I mean? Like, it was a huge fucking risk to have no fucking clients. But if I hadn't had that one person that really fucking believed in me, I just don't know if I'd be here right now. I really don't. I'm so thankful for my family and for you guys. Like, I literally cannot express enough how, like, you guys are a huge reason that I'm here, too. Like, I don't know, it's made me emotional saying it, but I'm like, oh my God, like, if I hadn't been posting these videos and had you guys be like, oh my God, I love you so much, and like, I love your videos and whatever, then I don't know where I'd be. Like, because the people I was surrounded with at the time were like so discouraging and so like, you know, whatever, like they, if anything, made me think I was like the most annoying person on the face of the planet. And why would anybody want to do business with me? You know what I mean? Like, so discouraging. If I didn't just have my mom and like all you guys to sit there and support me, then I don't know that I'd be doing this right now. And that's so crazy to me, because this is what I wanted so bad. Like, it's unreal. Like, the fact that I'm working on teaching this year, and I'm hiring somebody, and I've got all these plans and building a website. It's unreal. It's crazy to think like a year from now I'm going to be even different, and even bigger, better things are probably going to be happening. And that's unreal. And none of it would have been happening if I would have ever stopped and gotten scared. So please get out of your own fucking way, man. If you're scared, you're going to be scared. That's just part of life. Okay. And honestly, I think, at least for me, the second I started really facing my fears, my life really fucking changed. And now I'm not scared of anything, and I don't doubt myself anymore. And I'm such a more powerful, confident person. Like, you cannot tell me shit. You can't tell me shit. You know why? Because I'm here and I'm me all day long. It's just me and my dogs. And I know what I have, or I know who I am. I know what I have to bring to the table. And I know what my potential is. You know, so I don't doubt myself anymore. I know where I'm going from here, and it's only good places. So it's unreal. It's really unreal. And anybody that's been following me for a while, I know you guys know. I've talk to some of you guys about it, about like how crazy it is where I am now versus where I was a year ago. So I'm very thankful. I'm very fucking thankful. This last year, I started a business and I got out of a 6-year relationship, and I have never felt more free in my fucking life. Like, honestly, if I could go back and change anything, it would just be to do this sooner. If I could change anything, it would have been to move the fuck out of my ex-boyfriend's house, kick him to the fucking curb, and start this business ASAP, because I fucking had it in me the entire time and I just never saw it. So thank you guys for believing in me, because you're a huge reason of why I'm here. It's pretty awesome to hear you guys say like, oh, you inspire me and you give me all this confidence and whatever, because I like got it from you and then I like give it back. It's like this whole cycle we have going. We're like friends. I love you guys. Anyway, I'm gonna go and enjoy my next hour and a half before I have to go to this next client. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.